Hello, what is up guys? EvilDuoSarm here today, back with another First Impressions video. Today we're going to be taking a look at Lost Ark's closed beta test for the NA and EU regions that was live from November 4th through November 11th of 2021, and go over my first thoughts and impressions of this game, mine alone. This is not sponsored content, I received no payments to make this video. My personal thoughts. Now I'm going to lead off the start of this video by saying I hate isometric games. I have never enjoyed an isometric game in my life, at least in the MMORPG genre. So like Diablos, Path of Exiles, never been a fan of either of those games. So I did not have high hopes for this game in swaying me, but I have to say by the end of this beta period, I'm really digging it. So if you want the TLDR version of this game's going to be free to play, fingers crossed, when it releases in the West here sometime in the next couple of months. And frankly, you're going to get at least 15-20 hours of fun out of this game, so it's 100% worth playing when it does release. Don't know that it's worth spending any money to get into the beta this final day of the beta since the video is coming out on a Wednesday. But as far as something you want to pick up and play, definitely going to like it, especially if you like the Black Desert combat style, because there's so many skills and all sorts of crap, and I'll show you it all here in a little bit. But I mean, it just feels like a ton of fun to play and use all your different combos and skills and whatnot, and all the different animations that you can do of all these different things, and I don't know, it's enjoyable. Alright, so yeah, that's your TLDR version. Let's get into some actual content and coverage here, and I'm going to start off with character creation like I always do. Alright, so in character creation, you're greeted with 7 different classes to pick from, and each of these classes has other different breakdowns that you can choose once you've created the class. You are locked into a breakdown when you pick it in this beta, so you're going to have to choose wisely. It does let you try out the 3, though, before you pick them. Just for fan service, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the gunner female because I know that's, I know what my audience likes, right? Character creation itself is pretty in-depth, honestly, for an isometric game. Really quite cool. So you have a bunch of presets to choose from over here on the right side. You can pick through all the different presets. If you find a preset that you quite enjoy, let's just take this one. You go ahead and change the face to any one of the different faces that were shown on the other presets a second ago. You also have advanced face settings that you can modify here, so you can adjust like the width of eyes, the vertical position of the eyes, or vertical height rather, eye distance, height, all those different settings that you normally like to set. You can adjust eyebrow height and angles, cheeks, protrusion shapes, all sorts of different things, so pretty solid customization. One thing I want to point out though is that you cannot adjust ears, and you cannot adjust the actual mouth shape. So when you are selecting a face or a preset, you got to make sure to get the ears and the mouth right for whatever you're creating. After that, you have a ton of different hair options. In the hair options, you can have a 1-tone or 2-tone and adjust the different colors independently with a color wheel as well as a saturation pretty much. So you have that for 2 different colors. You can adjust the intensity of the color, all those different things. Eye colors the same way. You have a color wheel that you can select from, as well as the opacity of the eye, plus different pupil styles as well. Skin, same thing, color wheel, adjust your color of your skin. You can also do like blue colors if you're going for like an elf or a dark elf or something like that, so entirely up to you. Neat little feature. And you have your makeup changes that you also see in these types of games, as well as tattoos that can be moved around in different locations as well, which is interesting. So all in all, a really in-depth character customization. Can't customize the body, at least that I've been able to see, but otherwise pretty solid and in-depth. So after you've made your character, you're going to be sent through like your typical like prologue type situation. It's going to give you the story overview, then you can go do some story questing and all that sort of crap. It's going to send you around the world of the game. So the game world is actually pretty good sized. But it is broken down into various instanced sort of regions, right? So this is the first city in the game. Then you move on to the next map, next little dungeon, so to speak, which is the next region of the game. And then you got your next region of the game, right? So you move from location to location. It's not a true open world type game, more of like an instance zone-based thing. Think of something like a Blade and Soul. There's some openness to the different regions, but generally they're pretty linear. You move through a level and progress through it. Throughout the level, you're going to receive different quests. You complete the quest, they help you move on to the next area, etc., etc. At some point, you get a boat, and you can sail between the different continents and different regions of the game and all that good stuff. And yeah, that's generally what I want to say about the map. There's a lot to explore, a lot to do, but it's a linear type progression rather than an open world type progression. Throughout that progression, you're going to be sent to various dungeons. You'll find like field bosses to go ahead and kill. You can group up with your friends if you're playing on the same server. All the typical stuff you see in MMORPGs. You'll see people walking by. You'll see people standing in front of dungeon entrances. You got the whole idea. Now, I'll show the combat in a second because I have a ton of B-roll footage for that, but I do want to go into the skills menu in the game and show you how this works. As you progress your character and level up, you're going to get skill points. You can distribute these skill points into your various skills that your character can have. You can then select which skills you want to put onto your hotbar down below, so you can basically create your own custom character layout or character setup, right? Your own build. A lot of variety that you can have with that. Each of these skills, as you progress them, is going to unlock various sort of specs that you can go down, different upgrades and augmentations for the skill. So you can customize your build even further. Like for this ability, I have it doing 15% more damage. total increase of damage by 50%, and a total increase of damage by 70%. So basically, this is just a giant AoE nuke that makes my character basically Katarina. Some of these augmentations entirely change how a skill performs, and it's actually really cool. So it's a nice little mechanic, and I definitely wanted to bring it up and mention it. It's really interesting. Other things that people are going to ask about, you do have life skills in this game. There's a whole dedicated life skilling system to foraging, logging, mining, hunting, fishing, and excavating. I have not explored this at all, which I know is crazy considering I am a life skill player, but I didn't really want to deal with any of that in beta because progress is going to be reset, so, didn't feel like grinding that out. Just wanted to play the game and get as far as I could in it. Everything else is pretty typical as far as UI type elements go. You got a character profile and inventory. You can put on different gear. Changing your gear changes the appearance of your character. Pretty straightforward on that. So, you get those sorts of things. There are cosmetics. You can put skins on that can be bought from the shop. Looks like the skins do have bonus stats to your character, so a lot of people always get concerned about the pay to win and all that crud, but you can buy in-game currency, so there is that. But yeah, beyond that, the skins do provide buffs, so a little bit on that side. I guess while we're at it, we'll go ahead and take a look at the cash shop on this game, because that's another thing everybody always asks about in these types of videos. For the beta, they gave us 40,000 currency to spend in the cash shop, and they have a bunch of different things. So you can buy crystals, which are used to buy different items. You got some housing stuff. There's a housing system in the game that you can decorate your own house. You got different skins that you can buy for your character here. They also had mounts and pets gather stuff just like in Black Desert. Mounts to help get around faster. Other features including character customization tickets, which I need to buy because I want to save my character customization so that I don't forget how I made it. But all in all, nothing too crazy in the cash shop. It's pretty much what you've come to expect in these types of games with these microtransactions. There's nothing that I see in here that's like absolutely game-breaking, other than I guess the skins do give you a buff. But once again, other versions of this game, you can buy stuff off the marketplace using real-life currency that you buy with in-game currency. So there's like an in-game exchange rate and all that sort of crud. So just keep that in mind. But right off the bat, you can buy buffs. So yeah, beyond all that, you have your typical like UI interface. You got your friends list, your character menus. You got all sorts of stuff, right? It's a generic MMORPG sort of situation. Your money's all up at the top up there. Buy stuff, daily login rewards. You've seen this stuff before. You played MMORPGs. So now I'm going to break into some B-roll footage of combat because I think that's where this game really shines and what really separates it from like a Path of Exile, for example. I think that the combat in this game is really fun and really engaging. You have all sorts of combos you can make. You can create your own combos. I really think they did a really good job with this. And that's saying a lot because I'm a life skiller who really doesn't do any grinding, but I really enjoy the combat in this game a ton. So off to the B-roll footage. So the first B-roll footage I want to show you here is some combat versus one of the field bosses in the game. So while you're out progressing through the different zones that we looked at a second ago on the map, you can run into these different sort of field bosses. They have huge HP bars. And basically, you need a bunch of people that are out questing in the region to join in to knock the boss down. You'll be greeted with gear that is roughly around the level that you are fighting right there. So it's not like it's insane gear that you need to kill these to progress, but it does give you a nice boost for leveling while you're in the region. I wouldn't say it's worth doing them as far as progressing, at least in these lower tiered areas that I saw. But it's something interesting to do if you're out and about and you see a bunch of people doing it and you want to hop in on some jolly cooperative activities. Next thing I want to talk about is questing in the game and just general mob fighting during questing and all of that. And as you can see from this, it can get pretty chaotic in some situations, and it's really, really quite fun. It gives you that same sort of feeling you get in Black Desert, where when you like go through like an army of mobs and you cluster them all up and knock them all down, you get that same sort of feeling of power, except it's in an isometric game, and it feels a lot less taxing on the hands. I don't believe I mentioned it already in this video, but it is QWER, so just like League of Legends for your first set of skills, and then ASDF for your second set of skills. So basically it's just QWER and QWER, except like one row of keys lower. You also have the game set up either to left click or right click to move, and basically it just plays like League of Legends. It's really quite easy to get used to if you've ever played League, and all in all just a ton of fun. Final thing I want to talk about are going to be the cooperative dungeons that are throughout. So throughout the story, you're going to run into places where you need to complete a dungeon to finish. There is matchmaking built into the game. You can also go in with a party of friends if you're questing together. You can also quest together as a group. And if you guys complete one portion of the quest, then everybody gets that portion of the quest complete, which is pretty cool. Nice little system. You do have to swap channels every once in a while, but all in all, it works pretty well. So yeah, there's tons of cooperative content, activities, and whatnot available to you as a PvE exclusive player. Now moving on from the PvE side of things into the PvP side of things, a lot of people are probably going to have some questions how this works. I didn't get too crazy into the arena or anything like that, but I did do some duels versus my friend Kuropi, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I am not a PvP player. Those of you that have watched my videos before know this and know that I suck at PvP, and you're probably not watching the most engaging gameplay, but hopefully it helps to give you an idea of how the duels and whatnot work in this game at least, how the mechanics work and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, right here I probably should have just waited instead of using my gap closer to get close. I had him so close, but hey, this is why I don't do PvP. And with that, we've pretty much covered everything that I want to talk about in my first impressions video. So there's a lot more to this game. I only made it up to level 38. I don't know what comes after. I haven't played on the Russian server, I haven't played on the Korean server. But all in all, from what I saw in those first 38 levels, I'm super interested in continuing this game. Once again, it's going to be free to play on release, or it should be free to play on release. So it's definitely something that I would rate worth trying out. The combat in it is super fun. Exploring's fun. The story's solid. It's not like a world beater as far as stories go, but it's solid enough to keep you interested. And yeah, all in all, I just had a blast playing through this beta for the last week, so really looking forward to the full release. It's supposed to be sometime before March 31st. Don't have an exact date, but March 31st is the placeholder over on Steam, of 2022, of course. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you all so much for tuning into today's video. If you have thoughts on this game, let me know in the comment section below. Did you play the beta? What did you think of it? Any interest in picking up this game? Let me know down below. And you guys, thank you once again so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you at the next live stream over on Twitch, the next YouTube video right here, or wherever I happen to see you. Peace.